Reality feels immediate and complete. When you look around, it seems as if the universe is fully formed in every direction, existing all at once, independent of where your attention rests. This impression is so natural that it rarely becomes a question. We assume the world is already there, waiting to be discovered, and that our perception simply reveals pieces of a finished whole. Quantum physics quietly contradicts this assumption. At fundamental levels, reality does not exist as a completed structure spread uniformly across space and time. Instead, it exists as potential, as a set of possibilities that only become definite through interaction. What exists is not everything at once, but what becomes actual in specific conditions. In quantum experiments, particles do not possess definite properties everywhere simultaneously. They do not carry precise positions, energies, or paths through space until a measurement occurs. Before interaction, these properties are not hidden. They are undefined. Reality, in this sense, is not delayed knowledge. It is delayed existence. This challenges the idea of an objective universe unfolding independently of observation. If properties only become real through interaction, then reality is not fully present everywhere at all times. It is locally created through events. What exists is not a static universe, but a continuous act of becoming. The double-slit experiment illustrates this with unsettling clarity. When particles are not observed, they behave as waves, spreading across multiple possibilities at once. When observed, they behave as localized events. The act of measurement does not reveal a hidden truth. It selects one outcome from many that were equally real as possibilities. This selection is not arbitrary. It follows precise mathematical rules. But the outcome itself is not predetermined. Nature does not commit to a single reality until interaction forces a decision. The universe hesitates, not because it is uncertain, but because uncertainty is built into its structure. This hesitation is not limited to particles. It extends to the fabric of space and time themselves. At quantum scales, space loses its smooth continuity. Time loses its absolute flow. Events are no longer neatly ordered. What we experience as a continuous universe may be the result of countless micro-decisions averaging into stability. From the perspective of everyday life, this averaging creates the illusion of completeness. The world appears fully formed because probabilities collapse into near certainty at large scales. Reality looks finished because it rarely surprises us where probability is overwhelming. But this is not evidence of fundamentality. It is evidence of scale. The human mind is adapted to interact with stable outcomes, not with raw possibility. It evolved to assume continuity, persistence, and completion. These assumptions work well for survival, but they fail at fundamental levels. Quantum physics exposes this failure not as a flaw of perception, but as a limitation of intuition. This limitation appears inwardly as well. When attention turns toward experience itself, it becomes clear that awareness does not present everything at once. Experience unfolds, moment by moment. Thoughts arise and vanish. Sensations appear and dissolve. There is no totality of experience available simultaneously. There is only what is present now. Just as reality does not exist all at once in physics, experience does not exist all at once in awareness. The present is not a slice cut from a pre-existing whole. It is the only place where reality becomes actual. Past and future exist only as traces and projections within the present. This parallel is not accidental. Both physics and inner observation point to a universe that is fundamentally local and event-based. What is real is what happens. What exists is what occurs. The idea of a complete, fully realized universe is a mental construction imposed on a process that never settles. Identity, too, reveals itself as incomplete when examined closely. The self does not exist as a finished entity. It emerges through memory, sensation, and expectation interacting in the present. There is no total self hidden somewhere behind experience. That is only the current configuration of experience appearing now. What remains consistent is awareness itself. Awareness does not need to assemble itself. Moment by moment, it is present before any particular experience arises and remains after it dissolves. Awareness does not exist all at once either. It exists as immediacy, as presence, as now. This does not make reality fragile. It makes it intimate. When reality is no longer imagined as a distant, completed object, it becomes something unfolding here. Meaning is no longer searched for elsewhere. It is encountered directly in experience. Quantum physics does not say the universe is incomplete because something is missing. It says the universe is incomplete because completion is not how reality works. Reality is dynamic, relational, and contingent. It becomes real through interaction, not through pre-existence. The discomfort this creates is subtle but profound. It removes the comfort of a finished world. It removes the idea that everything already exists somewhere, waiting to be accessed. Instead, it places existence in the present moment as an active process. This is not uncertainty as confusion. It is uncertainty as openness. The universe is not withholding answers. It is inviting participation. Reality is not something you step into. It is something that happens. What exists is what occurs. What occurs is what is interacted with. What remains beneath all interaction is awareness itself. Not as an object, not as a thing, but as the space where reality becomes real. Still, within